Okay guys, it's time for an update on Peter's little 66 Chevy pickup. That was his father's, and unfortunately his father passed away and Peter inherited the truck. And that means a lot to him, so he wants to put it back and get it roadworthy again and drive it and have some fun with it. He's not building a trailer queen, he's not building a truck to take the car shows, he's just building a truck he can drive down the road, he says. It's going to get muddy, dirty, and just be reliable. And hey, that's what it's all about. So, he wanted to put disc brakes on the front of this truck. But they do not make a disc brake conversion kit for a four-wheel drive pickup. So they got two options here. Maybe there's a third, I don't know. But two options in my end is you either take all the body and exchange it and put it on a totally different, newer frame. Then you get power steering, disc brakes, you get all the goodies. Or you just find some good used diffs that'll fit in here that have got disc brakes. So that's what I did. I picked up a couple diffs out of an 83 Chevy pickup. Now Peter's truck here originally had 4, 5, 6 gears in it. Can you imagine this thing on the freeway? He said top speed was like 45, 50 miles an hour. So these differentials I picked up have 3, 4, 2s. So that's what he was after, that's what he wants, so it works out fine. So now, when you're doing this swap, guys, if anyone out there's wondering, I used a diff from an 83 and it bolted right onto the leaf springs. I didn't have to change the pads. Now what I mean by the pads, let me crawl underneath here, is if you look where my finger's pointing, you've got pads on there that are welded on the differential. The front ones I did not have to alter. They lined right up and the diff bolted right on. All I had to do was get new U-bolts. Obviously I threw some new shocks in this truck while I was at it. And away you go. Now the one thing though now when I got the diff I also grabbed the center link off the guy, or the tie rod I should say. It's got tie rods on the end on either one. And that's your center link that your tie rods go into. I grabbed that. We also grabbed, it's a little hard here to show you if the wheels on it. We also grabbed, because right here is your steering box, your factory steering box, or your factory pitman arm. But this is like a drag link arm that goes from here and it goes over to your diff, right, for your turning. The gentleman had that I got off, this is in good shape, and his is adjustable. Some aren't. So if you're going to do this, I suggest get an adjustable one. It's got threads, and you can, if you need to adjust it out more, you can buy different sleeves to make it longer or shorter. This is the shortest one, but it worked out perfect for me. One note you want to remember, when you're doing these are almost like a tie rod end. You want to make sure you always leave a minimum of 1 inch inside of here for this to clamp down on. You don't want to take it out and leave less than that. It's not recommended. So we've got just a teeny bit over 1 inch left under here, so we're good. So this arm I got with the diff too. The one thing I did have to alter is this arm here. It was a teeny bit bigger, so I had to take the pitman arm off and run to a machine shop, and they had to just taper this hole out inside here where the arm comes through. Just a hair. I mean, God, I dropped it. By the time I dropped it off and gave it to the guy in his hand, and I went to turn around and walk out the door, he was already done. That's how quick it was. So that's what we did. The front diff bolts right in. Now this truck, obviously, as we can see, I mean, look at the distance between the tire and wheel. This truck was lifted. This truck's got at least a good 4-inch lift. So when I went to hook it up, you got to make note of how your arm is here. Now his arm, this here, you can see the angle of it. This was factory to his original arm. But when I went and got this diff, the C arm that comes off of here, if you can see, let me come around the other way. If you can see the C arm right there, this here is a raised C arm for 4-inch lifted. And that's what I needed in order to get this arm here in the right position. And they only make a 4-inch lifted C arm. They don't make any others that I'm aware of. So if you've got a lifted truck, you get a 4-inch C arm, and it bolts right on, and away you go. So there's the front end, all in, done, finished. We cleaned it up a little bit. We didn't get too carried away. We just cleaned it up, pressure washed it, did the oven cleaner trick, and then we wire wheeled it a little bit, and we just threw some rust paint on there, flat black, because that's all that Peter wants. Because like Peter says, it's just a driver for him. And even when he's seen it, he was quite shocked. He was like, holy shit, it's cleaner than I thought it was going to be. He goes, I didn't expect it to be that clean, but he's super happy. So that's what's going on there. Now, we'll go around here. So obviously I've got the differential now out of the back of this truck, and I've cleaned up the leaf springs here. Now the differential that comes with, that I bought, the other one that's right here, that I bought to match the front one, I had to weld these on because they did not line up. Here's his factory diff right over here, and if I take a measurement from center to center, they're at 40 inches. Well, this one was at a lot more, so I had to cut the old ones off, which are laying on the ground somewhere over here. Yeah, you can just sort of see them down amongst all the garbage. There they are where I cut them off. So I cut them off, I welded the new ones on. Of course, you have to make sure you get them right in the right spot, because that has to do with your pinion angle and all that kind of stuff. So obviously before you start cutting and doing that, you make sure before you take the old differential out, you get all your measurements for your pitman arm and where everything is sitting and resting, and then you transfer it over those measurements and you get it right on here and you weld on your perches right there. So they're all welded on. Again, we're just doing the flat black rust paint treatment. Cleaned it up a bit. Cleaned up his leaf springs a little bit. We'll throw a little flat black on there too. And within the next 10-15 minutes, I'm hoping, if the rain holds out, but I see right now it's starting to rain, we will try and get this differential set in place. And that's it. We'll have our 2 diffs in there. So anyone doing one of these trucks, 4-wheel drive, that's what you're looking for. Now the differentials from the 70s too, they all work. Everything works. And I might want to make note too that the drive shaft that's coming off the front diff that goes onto your transfer case, it lined right up. Everything was perfect. It even took the same U-joints. Didn't have to change a thing. Everything lined right up. The front of this installation, it probably took more time trying to get it apart because it was old and rusty, and more time cleaning the shit up than it did to actually install it. The front is easy. The back is probably the one that takes a little more time because you got to weld on your perches and get your pinion angle right and all that kind of stuff. Holy God, you think I'd been drinking beer. Oh, wait a minute. Was that a beer I was drinking earlier, or was that just a pop? Oh shit, I can't remember now. Maybe I accidentally did drink a beer. Maybe that's what's happening to my my speech. Anyway. So there's what's going on with Peter's truck. There's a good update for you. Hopefully you guys, if you're doing a conversion on a 4x4, that'll help you out on this year truck. And remember, it's always a good time and old time. We'll see you next time. The rain is coming. I got to get back to work because I'm out working in the rain while the rest of the staff is inside the shop with the heat on. Anyway, it's always a good time at old time.